When I first moved to town, I remember saying to my dad, I have this song that would be perfect for George Jones. And my dad said, well, just take your guitar and go play it for him. And I thought, it's not your world. I don't call George Jones and go play it for him. So he had a different perspective. He knew George. I don't know if that they were close friends or anything. But I will tell this story. I tell these stories because everybody's dead, and I don't think it matters anymore. But when my dad wrote Tall, Tall Trees, he wrote that tailoring it for George Jones. And he played it for George, and George said, I will record it if you say I wrote half of it. And so my dad said, I did it once and one time only, and I did it because I wanted my foot in that door. And he said it was the best decision I ever made because it gave me the life I have for all he knew. And so 40 years later, that song goes #1 for Alan Jackson. And I just always thought about the royalty checks for George Jones for Tall, Tall Trees. And my dad would probably be mortified that I'm telling that story. He would never tell that story. But I feel like everybody's gone, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
It's good to set the record straight, I think.
Yeah.
And that was a very common thing.
It was a very common thing, very common. And it still happens in different forms today. Yeah. But it's a weird business. It's a lot of who you know and luck, and I don't know what it is.
Was it one of your first cuts of George Jones?
Yes. I have a gold. My first gold record was George Jones. He cut a song I wrote with Mark Colley called Ain't Love a Lot Like That. And that's an interesting story if you want to hear that story. I feel like I'm wearing you out with these boring stories. Okay. So Mark knew George and knew George was recording, and he went down to the session where they were recording. Keith Stegall was producing the record. And this was the days of cassettes, and Keith Stegall was in the room working out this arrangement with the musicians, and George was in the control room, and Mark played him this song. And he said, play it again. And he played it a second time, and he said, play it one more time. And by the third time, he was singing along. He was starting to sing along. And he said, you go out there, he meant to Keith Stegall in the room with the musicians. He said, you go out there and tell him we're taking that song off and putting this one on. And I thought, in that one moment, one of my biggest dreams came true, and I killed somebody else's dream that I don't even know because their song got kicked off the George Jones album. Yeah. But it is a huge privilege to have had George Jones sing my song.
Did you have him in mind when you guys wrote that?
I don't think really. I don't think we did. We might have said this is very Jones-like or something, but I think we were talking more about my dad when we wrote it.
Yeah. It has to feel beautiful to hear a voice like that singing a song that you wrote.
Yes, and it was interesting because when I heard it, George had changed the melody of the chorus. And my first instinct was, what are you doing? And I went, wait a minute, it's George Jones. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. So, yeah. I was very privileged to have that recording. And that was right at the time George had that huge car accident. And he was in court for drunk driving. And it was a very tumultuous time in his life. But I thought, it was on the news every night that he was going to court. And I thought, please drag this case out 6 months so we can sell this album. But that's a really bad attitude. But I thought if he could just be on the news every night. That's terrible. That's a terrible thing to say. Yeah.
This is actually really, really good insight for, and even for me. Mm-hmm. You saying that about him changing the melody. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That would bug the hell out of me.
It would if it wasn't George Jones. It was on the record. I didn't hear it until it was already a done deal. Yeah. I mean, what am I going to do? Hey, right. I don't want this cut. No, I'm not going to do that.
Right. I'm talking about secretly being bothered by it.
Oh, yeah.
It would be something I would think, there's a reason the melody's this because I thought that was the best and most catchy thing or something.
Right.
And then it's altered, but then we find out, it doesn't.
Well, in all the cuts I've gotten, they have never gotten it 100% right. Somebody's changed a lyric, somebody's changed a melody. People have done things on there. I go, what are you doing? But you got to just be glad to have it because it's an artist's interpretation of your thing.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's honestly something that I don't think we've ever talked about. It's a good thing to just say out loud to people.
Yeah.
Expect that. If you get the opportunity, something like that might happen, and roll with it.
Well, if you write a screenplay, the actors are going to ad lib and somebody's going to say something, they're going to do something different. You can't control that if you want. And if you want something of yours to go on, you can't stand over people and say, don't do it like that. You know, like I ran the risk of telling Merle Haggard he was singing lyrics wrong. I thought, I'm going to lose. He's going to walk. I did when I was working with on this. It was the same song. Willie sang on that same song. It's Old Friends. And they did a version with Merle and Willie and Chris Christopherson. And I have memories of each of them that are just beautiful of that session. But Willie was in there doing the solo. And I'm on there going, can you try this? Can you do it? The melody's a little different. And Buddy leans over to me and said, if you make him do it more than 3 times, he's going to walk. And I went, okay. Okay, I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bother this anymore, you know.
That's a good lesson.
It is a good lesson. I mean, Willie Nelson is doing this as a favor. Don't stand over him and go, no, not like that. No, that's not a good plan.
And these are talented people playing their instrument.
That's right.
Let them play.
Stay out of the way, man. It's the best skill is hiring the right people and then shutting up. Well, I didn't hire Willie Nelson, but you know, but yeah, I at that time I'd had a lot of experience producing, so I felt like I could push Willie around. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, the message in all of this is, who cares about any of this other dumb stuff? Listen to my music. That's the message, okay?